So let's be honest about podcasts, especially in these spaces of relationships, financial literacy, a lot of different concepts and topics that we seem to talk about. The truth about a lot of these podcasts is that most of these podcasts that's circling around are based in areas and cities with higher cost of living, right? New York, LA, Atlanta, Miami, Houston. And when they have conversations about salary in relationships, dating, how much a date costs, how much a person should make, how much a provider should be, all this other stuff, it is still based off of people's cost of living. And what seems to be happening is that podcasters, influencers, YouTubers are having these conversations and making it seem as though their cost of living is everyone's cost of living. Now, don't get me wrong, inflation is everywhere, but everybody's cost of living isn't the same. And people are having conversations about relationships in areas that are higher than the average cost of living. They say, well, you have to be making six figures and such here and there. I guess, yeah, in that city where y'all are having that conversation, I guess that's true. But in Timbuktu over there, it's not applicable. And because these podcasts and channels are in major cities, then they are pushed through the algorithm a whole lot more, a whole lot quicker. You like, how that channel grow so fast? Because they're in Miami. They're not in Wisconsin. It may take a little while in Wisconsin. So when these podcasts use statistics of the average man and woman's salary, they look at it and talk about it as if it's not feasible. But of course it wouldn't be, because in the area where your podcast is, your cost of living is much higher. Of course it's not feasible. And then speaking of average man and woman, it's crazy to me how podcasts use average and median men and women statistics as references to their conversations and arguments, but they never have an average man or woman on their show. They never have an average man or woman on their show. Most of these podcasts and shows have people on there who aren't the average. The guests on your show are entrepreneurs and entertainers and people who are highly successful. And I get it. It's never the average 9-to-5 person, even though the whole context and topic of their conversation is the 9-to-5 person. All of their statistics and studies are about the 9-to-5 person. You talk about marriage, but you never have the average married couple. You talk about being single, but you never have the average single person. And I get it, because the average wouldn't be profitable. You got to have somebody who builds the aesthetics of your podcast, because that gives the illusion of quality. The more successful your guests are, the better your show looks. So then you have a bunch of people on the podcast talking about blue collar workers, and none of them are blue collar workers. So at that point, the podcast just turns into entertainment, because nobody's really relatable. It just looks fun to watch. And without relativity, there's no solution. It's just a bunch of talk about problems. You're trying to get a basic understanding. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not trying to get a basic understanding of anything. You're just talking. Because if you were really looking for understanding, then your topics would be more relatable to the average as opposed to the exception. A lot of podcasts have the exceptions talking about the majorities. For people who are very invested in these podcasts, just make sure that you know that most of these podcasts are not here to help. They're just here to entertain. But tell me what y'all think. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Peace out.